The starship Voyager-7 sailed through the vast expanse of space, its sleek metallic hull glinting in the distant light of distant stars. Captain Ava Reynolds stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the viewscreen that displayed the endless void before them. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady and authoritative. Lieutenant Commander Jackson, the ship's second-in-command, turned from his console to face her. "All systems are functioning within normal parameters, Captain. No signs of any anomalies in our vicinity." Captain Reynolds nodded, her brow furrowing slightly. Ever since they entered this uncharted sector of space, a sense of unease had settled over the crew. It was as if they were being watched by unseen eyes, their every move scrutinized by some unknown presence. "Keep a close eye on our sensors," she instructed. "I want to know the moment anything out of the ordinary pops up." "Aye, Captain," Jackson replied, his fingers dancing across the control panel. As the hours stretched on, the tension on the bridge grew palpable. Every blip on the sensors elicited a sharp intake of breath from the crew, their hearts pounding in anticipation of what they might encounter in the vast emptiness of space. Then, suddenly, the proximity alarms blared to life, jolting everyone out of their reverie. Captain Reynolds sprang into action, her instincts taking over as she scanned the readings on the console. "What is it?" she demanded, her voice cutting through the chaos. Jackson's face paled as he studied the data. "Unknown object approaching at high velocity, Captain. It's like nothing I've ever seen before." Captain Reynolds narrowed her eyes, her mind racing as she tried to make sense of the situation. Whatever it was closing in fast, and they had no idea what its intentions were. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers," she ordered, her voice calm but firm. "And ready the weapons, just in case." As the crew sprang into action, the unknown entity drew nearer, its alien form looming large on the viewscreen. It was a massive, amorphous shape, pulsating with an otherworldly energy that sent shivers down the spines of all who beheld it. And as it drew closer still, the crew of the Voyager-7 braced themselves for whatever lay ahead, knowing that their encounter with this enigmatic entity would test their courage and resolve like never before. The tension on the bridge of the Voyager-7 was palpable as the mysterious entity loomed ever closer. Captain Reynolds stood at the helm, her hands gripping the control panel tightly as she monitored the readings flashing across the screens. "Status report," she called out, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Lieutenant Commander Jackson glanced up from his station, his brow furrowed in concentration. "The entity is now within visual range, Captain. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. No discernible structure, no recognizable features. It's as if it's made of pure energy." Captain Reynolds nodded, her mind racing as she tried to formulate a plan of action. They had encountered many strange phenomena in their travels through the cosmos, but this was something else entirely. "Can we establish communication with it?" she asked, her eyes never leaving the viewscreen. Jackson shook his head. "I've tried every frequency, every modulation. There's no response." Captain Reynolds frowned, her gut telling her that this encounter was far from over. "Keep trying," she instructed. "And keep an eye on its movements. I want to know if it makes any sudden changes in trajectory." As the crew worked frantically to make contact with the entity, it continued its inexorable advance, drawing closer with each passing second. And then, without warning, it stopped, hovering in space just beyond the ship's sensors. "What's it doing?" one of the crew members whispered, their voice barely audible over the hum of the ship's engines. Captain Reynolds watched intently as the entity seemed to pulsate with a strange rhythm, its energy swirling and shifting in patterns that defied comprehension. And then, suddenly, it began to emit a series of strange, otherworldly sounds, filling the bridge with an eerie cacophony that sent shivers down the spines of all who heard it. "What is that?" Jackson asked, his voice tinged with awe and fear. Captain Reynolds shook her head, her mind racing as she tried to decipher the meaning behind the entity's incomprehensible communication. Whatever it was, she knew that their encounter with this enigmatic being was far from over, and that the fate of the Voyager-7 hung in the balance. As the strange, otherworldly sounds emanated from the enigmatic entity, the crew of the Voyager-7 listened in stunned silence. Captain Reynolds stood at the helm, her brow furrowed in deep concentration as she tried to make sense of the incomprehensible communication. "Can we translate it?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Lieutenant Commander Jackson shook his head, his fingers flying across the control panel as he attempted to analyze the alien language. It's unlike anything I've ever encountered, Captain. The syntax, the grammar. It's completely alien." Captain Reynolds bit her lip, her mind racing as she tried to find a way to bridge the gap between their two vastly different species. They had come so far, ventured into the unknown reaches of space in search of answers, and now they stood on the brink of a discovery that could change everything. "Keep trying," she instructed, her voice firm. "We need to establish communication with this entity, whatever it takes." As the crew worked tirelessly to decode the alien language, the entity continued to pulsate with its strange, rhythmic patterns, its energy swirling and shifting in mesmerizing displays of color and light. And then, suddenly, it began to emit a series of images, flashing across the view screen in rapid succession. "What? What are they?" one of the crew members asked, their voice filled with awe and wonder. Captain Reynolds studied the images intently, her heart pounding in her chest as she tried to decipher their meaning. They were like nothing she had ever seen before, a kaleidoscope of sights and sounds that spoke to something deep within her soul. It's a message," she said, her voice barely audible over the hum of the ship's engines. "A message from the entity." As the crew watched in awe, the images continued to unfold, revealing glimpses of distant galaxies, ancient civilizations, and wonders beyond imagining. And as they beheld the beauty and majesty of the cosmos laid out before them, they knew that their encounter with this enigmatic being was far from over, and that the true meaning of its message remained shrouded in mystery. The message from the enigmatic entity continued to unfold before the crew of the Voyager-7, each image and sensation more captivating than the last. Captain Reynolds stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the view screen as she tried to discern the meaning behind the alien communication. It's showing us the history of the universe," she murmured, her voice filled with awe and wonder. "The rise and fall of civilizations, the birth of stars, the endless cycle of creation and destruction." Lieutenant Commander Jackson nodded, his expression grave as he watched the images flicker across the screen. "But what does it mean? What is the entity trying to tell us?" Captain Reynolds shook her head, her mind racing as she tried to piece together the puzzle before them. There was a message hidden within the images, she was sure of it, a message that held the key to unlocking the secrets of the cosmos. "We need to keep watching," she said, her voice resolute. "There's more to this than meets the eye." As the crew continued to study the images, a sense of urgency filled the air. They knew that time was running out, that they were on the verge of a discovery that could change everything. And then, suddenly, the final image flashed across the screen, filling the bridge with its brilliance. It's us," one of the crew members gasped, pointing to the image of the Voyager-7 as it sailed through the cosmos. "The entity is showing us ourselves." Captain Reynolds felt a chill run down her spine as she studied the image, her heart pounding in her chest. It was as if the entity was trying to tell them something, to show them their place in the grand tapestry of the universe. "We are part of something greater than ourselves," she whispered, her voice filled with reverence. "We are connected to the cosmos in ways we can't even begin to imagine." As the crew absorbed the magnitude of the revelation before them, they knew that their encounter with the enigmatic entity had changed them forever. They had glimpsed the true nature of the universe, seen the beauty and wonder that lay beyond the stars, and they knew that their journey was far from over. With the final image of the Voyager-7 flashing across the view screen, a profound sense of understanding washed over the crew. They realized that their encounter with the enigmatic entity was not just a chance meeting in the vast expanse of space, but a revelation of their place in the cosmos. "We are explorers, seekers of knowledge and truth," Captain Reynolds declared, her voice filled with conviction. "And we will continue our journey, no matter what lies ahead." The crew nodded in agreement, their hearts filled with a sense of purpose as they prepared to set course for the next uncharted frontier. They knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges and dangers, but they also knew that they were not alone. Together, they would face whatever the universe had in store for them, united in their quest for understanding and discovery. As the Voyager-7 sailed into the unknown, its crew ready to embrace whatever the future held, they knew that their encounter with the enigmatic entity had changed them forever. They had been given a glimpse of the infinite possibilities that lay beyond the stars, and they were determined to explore them to the fullest. And so, with their eyes fixed on the horizon and their hearts filled with hope, the crew of the Voyager-7 embarked on the next chapter of their journey, knowing that the universe was vast and mysterious, but that they were ready to face whatever lay ahead, together. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more stories. Until next time, take care and keep watching.